My name is Keith Larsen. I'm with The Real Deal. I'm here with Anna Bozovic. She was my go-to source for real estate data when I was in Miami. What's going on right now in Miami? What is the state of the residential market?
Great questions, and super happy to be here and to see Keith again. I've missed him in South Florida. So what's happening in South Florida and Miami is actually, it's fascinating. We're in the early stages of a shift in the country and the world as the world sort of reshapes in the post-COVID reality. And how are we seeing this at play in South Florida? We're seeing a massive influx of cash. There was an extra $29 billion spent in the first 3 quarters of this year versus 2019, which was our most recent pre-COVID year, in residential real estate, so condos plus single-family homes, Tri-County, South Florida. At the same time, aggregate inventory, active listings, dropped 51%. It's colossal. And this is the early days of a shift. It's like every 80 to 100 years, the world kind of shifts. And now we had a break in habits change, and people are dispersing. And even if 10% of people change their behaviors at scale, that's enormous. And we're one of the new emerging epicenters of this multipolar world.
One thing that I find super fascinating is Miami market, as you know, was so reliant on foreign buyers. And historically, however the condo market did, it's all based on whether foreigners and South Americans in particular are spending money on condos and residential properties. Now that seems to have shifted. I mean, we rely more on domestic buyers, people essentially from the Northeast, but also from all over the U.S.
Correct.
Is that something that we're going to see more of, and is that here to stay?
I believe so, and that's absolutely correct. These percentage gains, especially at the $1 million plus points, have been fueled by domestic buyers. When you speak to pre-construction projects, they're going to tell you that 90% of their buyers have been domestic this year, which was the opposite of what the reality was before. So again, I think that's also just begun. I think this is like the new frontier, and the first people came, they explore, businesses sign leases. It's true. And then you have a few partners or a few people come down, they send their kids to school, they tell someone else up in New York or in one of the feeder jurisdictions, hey, it's kind of nice here. So I think that it builds a critical mass, and the city right now is ready for it. And then I'm also a big believer in the power of negative momentum also. And in my opinion, our feeder jurisdictions, New York, California, they're in the early days of negative momentum, where they're being increasingly hostile to capital, or perceived as such, and perception will create reality. So people with money are feeling not welcome, and then they're going to start shifting out because their habits are already broken.
Gotcha. And another thing that's unique about South Florida, unlike New York, unlike these other markets, is we have so many condos. We're heavily dependent on condos, but we also have homes. We have single-family homes. We now, in the past couple of years, there's been a huge boom in luxury multifamily. What do people want right now? What are you seeing as the asset class that people are gonna start going to in coming years here in Miami?
Yeah, so that's a few different parts there. So I think that our foreign buyers that have traditionally come in and bought condos, they haven't gone away. If they've receded, it's because they couldn't be here. All the reasons that they purchased before are still going to be alive and well now. And now our travel restrictions are loosening, all that stuff. So they're going to come back. They didn't decide they like Miami, they just couldn't come. And so they're going to come on top of the current demand. And rents are up enormously. Actually, just in South Florida, yes, the city of Miami, rents are up something like 20% over 2019, just across the board, and it's 18% over last year. So this is really just a question of demand. So what is the asset class? I don't know, it's a tough question. It depends what your investment goals are.
Right. And then this is probably a conversation we weren't having 2 years ago, but inventory. Now you're saying maybe an inventory shortage. What is the inventory like right now, and is that going to be a problem for the market as a whole?
Yes. So our region had the largest percentage of cost-burdened renters in the nation leading into COVID. That's people paying more than 40% gross in rent. And that portion of housing, especially single-family homes, under $1 million, under $500,000, it's an extreme squeeze. So COVID accelerated that. That was already a squeeze beforehand, the affordability squeeze. So that's the case right now, and there's basically nothing out there. So aggregate everything, prices, condo, single-family, has dropped 51%. The squeeze is higher at the lower amounts. Now for the higher amounts, the condos were in such extreme oversupply. So now when we look at the condo market, 1 million plus, inventory has dropped less than the other portions of the market. It's dropped about 30%, which is significant. That's a lot. It's just that everything else is so crazy that it's a smaller drop. And so then having said that, because the condo market was in such oversupply before, prices haven't gone as nuts as a single family home market.
And is that when you're talking with builder or condo developers and multifamily developers, is that something they're thinking about? Hey, there's all this pent up demand for a product that can be leased like that, I think it's a bit easier sometimes than building condos.
Correct.
It's difficult if you got HOA.
Correct.
So is that a conversation that they're having? Is that something that they're thinking about?
Yes, absolutely. Especially people who have that type of product elsewhere in the country. Because they're used to building like nice workforce housing that they're actually also upgrading now because they want to retain the tenants, and they know that people are staying at home more, they want a little bit more space, they want outdoor, they want to keep the amenities nice. So people who make that product are absolutely considering that for South Florida, again, because the demand is coming here. That's one of the reasons I'm optimistic on the city. I think we're going to see more and more of that product type, which the city needs as people with real jobs keep moving here.
Well, thank you so much, Anna. It's always great talking with you.
Thank you.